Hello and welcome to the Helios blog. My name is Helios here for another reaction video. Today, Andrew Tate trolls Chian. Let's get into it.
The reason she's alone is because she's difficult.
Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Women fuck men they respect.
All the women who say things like, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, like, y'all impress me.
Women just gaslight each other and say what they want to hear.
Stepping out. You know, I watched American Pie the other week, and I thought that would have been the best time to be alive. You know, like 2003. Like, you can still call the people you care about if it's a real emergency, but no one's glued to their phone. Yeah. No one's scrolling social media. No one's trying to take an Instagram picture. Everyone's just at the crappy party, enjoying the crappy party. Like, if you go to Dubai and you look around the bar, half the people aren't having fun. They're just purely trying to get Insta stories to look like they're having fun. So it's pure.
Yeah, it's garbage. 2023 culture is like hilariously bad.
Like, ha 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 ha. Okay, so I think that a lot of people now are doing things not because they enjoy them, because other people will think they're having fun, and it's more about creating envy as opposed to actually enjoying yourself.
Right. And here is my recommendation for you. Are you ready? Rather than doing that, just delete your social media. Your life will get 1,000 times better. You won't be comparing yourself to somebody else's highlight reel and depressing yourself for no reason. And spend that time doing something you actually enjoy doing, as opposed to, you know, watching TikToks for 2 hours and making your attention span that of a gnat.
If you go on a really fun night out, you don't take your phone out. So when I see someone who went on a night out and took 20 stories dancing and laughing and having a great time, I know they're bored.
Yeah, they're not in the moment.
Do you know what I mean? Because if you really have a great night out, you don't take any stories and you forget to check your phone. Social media has completely and utterly changed the world. It's changed the way that we function. It's changed the way that we go out. It's changed even the places we go. Social media now runs the world. We live in an attention society, and people will do anything for attention because attention is a currency, and you can turn attention into money. Jake Paul is not rich because he's a boxer. He's rich because he used the attention he gets and monetized it via boxing. So in the attention economy we now live in, you have to understand that your attention is valuable, especially as a man. And women are out here today trying to extract your attention from you without returning anything.
That's right. That describes a lot of girls online. They're trying to extract your attention without giving anything. Yes. And that's what Instagram is ultimately. That's what, you know, Lady of the Night services, like that online website that ends with F. That one. That's what that's for. And so on, right? Spicy content. It's to extract your attention without giving anything in return. And so on. These girls want you to text them, you know, day in, day out, multiple times. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's let's just be friends.
That's what the male-female friendship is. In the old days, man would give attention in return for sex.
That's right.
But nowadays, men just give attention and they don't get any sex back. And that's what you have to be very, very careful of. Your attention is extremely valuable. So
that's right. A man who values his attention, values his own time, is much more valuable, much more attractive than a man that doesn't. Shitting time. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit all for notifications, drop me a donation like Hunter M, Adrian R, and Tom M. Just click more in the link in the description. Share this video. Buy my books at bit.ly/heliosbooks. And of course, go to my Patreon and subscribe. Patreon.com/theheliosblog. Let's continue.
For all the men out there, if you're following a woman and you have zero chance of fucking her and she ain't replying to your DMs, stop following her. Like,
really? Simple as that.
When's the last time you truly lived in the moment?
I personally live in the moment a lot.
No, but that's a good thing, right? That's a beautiful thing, and that's actually an asset. Like, my brother is very similar to that. But the problem is, if you live very, very much in the moment and you're not on your phone, I feel like, and I can only talk from the masculine perspective, you're not competitive. Because as a man, you need to be doing things, talking to people, making money, moving things, etc. You have to be on your phone all the time.
Really like how you just delivered what you said, but I just find it crazy how we've just sat and said about people need to live in the moment and that, but then like you've sold courses trying to explain to people how to be like that. It's just aspire for this. And
I understand. Right. I understand what you mean, but unfortunately, and it's an unfortunate reality of the world, is that it's player versus player. Like if you go to a video game, if you play Call of Duty, right? There's 20 people in there, and we're all trying to kill each other. And the world is very, very similar financially. I'm not saying we should be out here killing each other, but I'm trying to explain that there's a certain amount of resource and everyone's trying to get it. And I understand your perspective, but your perspective is feminine, as it should be because you're a woman, right? But the masculine imperative and the masculine perspective is you have to understand that life is war. It's a war for the female you want. It's a competition. Every man's trying to get her. It's a war for the car you want. It's a war for the money you want. It's a war for the status. It's a war. Masculine life is war. If you're a man who doesn't view life as war, you're going to lose. So,
right. All life is inherently competition. It's competitive. You must fight in order to win. And the beautiful part is this. Most men don't know, right? They don't know that life is a competition. They don't treat life as a competition. They don't actually compete. They don't try. They don't strive. They don't fight. They don't work to be the best that they can be. And because they don't do these things, they are destroyed, ultimately.
So as a man, you have to wake up and think, okay, everything I want, other men want. I have to outcompete every other man to get it. So how am I going to do that? Am I going to do that by living in the moment, ignoring my phone, having a fun picnic?
Do you believe in men's mental health? You are kind of like the problem in society in a sense of...
Thank you.
Yeah. Andrew is the problem in society. Actually, no. Andrew represents a certain kind of man. The kind of man that competes and struggles and fights to get what he wants, but is not necessarily agreeable or nice. That's the kind of man that he is.
Fast car, women, lifestyle. No, but it is. This is the problem.
It's not my problem.
I'm not saying it's your problem directly, but I'm saying this is the problem. Yes, all men probably want to aspire for that. But do you see the pressure there is on men?
Completely. It is much harder to be a man than be a woman.
Okay, so what's your thoughts on men's mental health?
I agree. It's much harder to be a man than be a woman, which is basically what you just said. Society's expectations of men is much higher than the societal expectations of females. I agree. Much more is expected of us. I agree. It's a harder game. Just like every other video game on Earth. It's a harder game, but if you complete it, you get a higher score. I think that being a top-tier male is the best human experience that any human can have. I think that being a...
That's right. Yes. That's accurate. But the problem is this. It's very difficult to actually become a top-tier male. And the time and effort investment required is huge. It's not something one can just do.
Female would not compare in any way to being a top-level man.
Yeah, it's requires consistent long-term effort, and Chian actually doesn't agree. She doesn't agree, but she doesn't understand the male experience. So,
no.
Reason why? There's experiences, right? Like women, we can literally carry lives inside of us.
I agree with you, and I'm actually glad you chose that experience because that's the most important thing a female can do, and I agree with you, and I understand it's a beautiful thing because there's no society and there's no world without life. I agree with you. However, I think that as a man, you can build an empire. There's conquest as a man, and I think as a female, it's not quite the same. And I'm not saying this in any kind of way that disrespects females. I don't want people to look at this and think I'm disrespecting females. I'm not. I'm saying we have different roles. We do different things, and women give life. Women have a very, very important role, probably the most important role in society. Women are beautiful creatures that do something separate that men cannot do. I think a top-tier male is more unique than a beautiful woman. I think that you get to build an empire. I think that you get to be respected and feared in a way that women never are. I understand that that's a very, very unique human experience, right? Most men never, ever get there. The reality of life for most men is absolutely depressing. I completely understand when you talk about male.
Yep. Bottom 80% of men, there are men at 30 years old that have never even kissed a girl. And that's because they've never kissed a girl because they're not competitive. They don't understand what they need to have in order to get what they want. And they've been lied to since they were a kid. They've been lied to about what they actually need. Just be yourself. That isn't what gets it done. And especially in 2023, when society is much more competitive, much more difficult, that isn't what gets it done. You must be strong, competitive, powerful. You must be working a lot, right? And not only this, you have to constantly be going up, because if you're not going up, you're going down. And society more and more is tending towards the top percentages. What I mean is, in a capitalist society, wealth tends to concentrate at the very upper echelons, at the upper tier. And more the middle class is disappearing. So if you're not in the upper tier, you're in the lower tier. And if you're in the lower tier, you're miserable. And that's the problem.
So have you suffered with mental health?
Fuck no.
No.
Absolutely not. Because I understood that as a man, you must build yourself.
That's right.
As a female, you can be born.
But did you not, like, we need to stop going into philosophies and just stuff, because I'm actually I want to understand you.
Okay.
Right. So have you not experienced mental health? No.
Zero.
Okay, so how do you cope with stress and situations? Express your emotions when you're frustrated and when you're stressed.
Good question.
That's what women are like. When they have certain emotional feelings, they have to deal with it, right? They have to talk it out or whatever. But that's not what men are like. Men are not like that at all. For men, if you have a goal and you're working towards it, that's like the happiest state you can be in. The constant effort, the constant drive, the constant striving to be great.
And if I'm stressed or I'm frustrated, then I understand it's my time to perform. And I agree that society puts huge pressure on men, and it's time for men to perform. As a man, you either perform or you don't. There's no safety net like there is for females. Females can wake up and say, I don't feel like it.
Yeah, but there is for men.
No, there isn't.
But there is.
The men who
Yes,
say,
there
I
is.
can't feel like it, cannot compete with the men who do not say that.
That's right.
And it is player versus player. The man who goes to the gym every single day, regardless of how he feels, will always beat the man who goes to the gym when he feels like going to the gym. And it's player versus player. And let me tell you something. As much as you want to sit here and disagree with me, it's women who decide who the winner is.
Yeah, and ultimately this is true as well. You only have limited time on this planet, so if you say you don't feel like it and don't work and don't strive and don't try, then all that time that you didn't try, didn't strive, didn't practice, didn't achieve anything, other men have. Other men have worked using that time. You're given only limited time. Use it wisely. Okay. Let me give you a quote by Arthur Schopenhauer. The average man thinks how to spend his time. The wise man thinks how to invest it. That's the point. You have to think about how to invest your time in order to get the greatest success that you can out of this life. Again, if you are a failure at 70 years old, but you died fighting, you tried every single day to make yourself better, even if you fail to get where you actually wanted, you will be so much better off than most people. And not only this, you'll be happy that you tried, because life is in that struggle, at least for men. Rather than playing video games, make your life the video game. That's the point.
You will choose the man who's in fantastic shape. You'll choose the man with all his money right.
I like a dad bod, personally.
Okay, well, that maybe
That's
you're
a lie.
an exception because you're an angel.
Stop
But
the
in
cap.
general, we're talking in generalizations, because exceptions do not disprove the rule. Females will choose the man who's in fantastic shape. Females will choose the man who's got his money right. Females will choose the man who can fix any problem. Females will choose the man when they can go to him and say, everything's can you fix this? And he says yes without panicking. That's who women want. Women decide who the winner is. Women don't want the man when you come to him with your problems and he goes, oh, I'm too stressed today. Tell me tomorrow. No. Women don't want that.
But women also don't want a dickhead.
But having your life in order doesn't make you a dickhead.
You can have all those things,
Correct.
but then there's that fine line where your ego gets a bit too much. For example, like, you could be very successful. You can have good-looking women that are attracted to you. You can just have all those qualities. Correct. But then once you possess that, you then suddenly can go past that line, your ego, then you start to become an arsehole.
I agree.
So, like, again, once a man is at a certain level, he can have whatever ego he wants. Because he's earned that ego. If a man has that ego without having earned it, then he's delusional. If he has that ego after having earned it, then he's not delusional. Also, women don't even care, right? Like, if you're a quote-unquote bad guy, but you have all the qualities that women want, they'll still be attracted to you, still sleep with you, still get multiple girls, you'll still be very happy. And you'll still be successful. They will tolerate that behavior because they're getting everything they want. The reverse doesn't apply. If they get nothing they want, you're invisible.
with you, but I'm not talking about that. I think that's a separate conversation.
No, I'm just saying, no, I agree with everything. That's what I'm saying. Like, for me, I agree with everything you're saying, but what I'm trying to argue is the men get successful, they become even more narcissistic, and they just...
No, that's your personal experience, and you can't use your personal experience to generalize to the population.
Are not nice people to be around.
You're very, very smart.
Thank you.
You are. But you're doing what most females do, and you're conflating issues. So when you conflate, what you do is you mix two issues together to try and prove your point.
No, I've just been asking you personal questions,
Correct.
and every time you give me a philosophy
No,
around
it's not a
it.
philosophy.
No, but I'm saying in general, when I'm asking you, I'm trying to get to know you on a level. How does a woman like me get to know a gentleman like you?
Here at this beautiful, nice, civil dinner we're having here with no animosity at all. You asked me about men's mental health. My answer was explaining that as a man, you don't have the luxury. Oops, I don't feel like it. You can do it.
You can, but I'm sorry, I know I keep cutting you, but I'm just...
If you say, I don't feel like it, all that happens is the men that are doing it despite not feeling like it are going to beat you. That's all that happens.
Like, because this is the part that gets really frustrating for me, like, men with this mindset that you have. Like, I get it, okay, great, you are out.
Those are the only men that you're attracted to.
You've achieved
It's
all
not
these
about
things.
alpha.
No, but I'm saying, like, you possess all these, it's great, but you are the problem. You're creating this pressure
I'm not
on
creating a
men and
problem.
society. Like,
No,
it's so
I'm not
competitive.
creating a pressure.
But you
No. What? Okay. This girl here doesn't understand the reason why men have evolved this competitiveness in the first place. Let me explain. Life is not sugar, spice, and everything nice. Life is not rainbows and butterflies. Before this beautiful, comfortable life, there was the wild. There was, you don't have the proper clothes, you just die tonight. You didn't make a fire, you die. You don't eat for 3, 4, 7, 2 weeks in a row, you die. That's what life used to be like. And so, what happened? Well, women have children, and so that it makes them weaker because they have to carry them. The children have to feed. If a woman's pregnant, she can't hunt. I mean, she's certainly not as effective as she would be if she wasn't. And it's not like humans have claws and teeth like a lion or muscles like a rhinoceros. So, humans had to evolve to be smart, to solve these problems. So the humans have invented, the sword, the spear, the bow and arrow, and so on, to have claws and teeth. And they had to have this competitive, I'm going to win, I'm going to take the things out of the environment that I want, so that we can all collectively survive, and not only survive, but thrive. That's why men have this attitude. It's not the problem. The reason why society is so comfortable, so you can complain and, barely wear any clothes and sit on a couch and just talk at a camera all day, the reason you can do that is because all these problems have historically been solved by men so that you can complain. Don't complain that men's competitiveness is the problem. It's not the problem. That's the reason why you're comfortable. Strong men created this world. Don't complain that strong men are the problem.
Successful men can actually be like, oh, okay, I don't actually feel like it today. Like, they actually can take a break and rest.
No, they can't. And they can't because to have the personality to be the kind of man that achieves that level of success, you're going to psychologically not think that way. And if you thought that way, then you wouldn't be that successful. That's the point.
I understand. My point is that it's player versus player. And if you're a man who's going to constantly give in to mental health problems or mental health trouble, you're not going to be able to compete with the men who don't.
Okay, but
That's
can we
right.
validate men that have...
Completely. If you have mental health...
So we can't go player, just validate men that have mental health issues.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Men who have mental health issues, I wish them the best in the world.
Okay, great.
But when they come to me and say, and I get this all the time, Andrew, I have this problem, I'm depressed and I can't go to the gym. I say, no, I disagree. You're depressed because you don't go to the gym. If you go...
Indeed. Yeah, the first step is, I have this goal in mind, I'm going to work on it. And go and work on it. And when you go and work on it, you see that you can do it. Then you have the second goal, and you go and work on that goal, and so on.
Go to the gym, you might start to feel better, right? I'm saying you can't sit as a man and afford the luxury of saying, I have a mental health issue today, I'm sad today, I'm stressed today, I'm emotional today, I can't work. Because you will lose against the men who don't do that. And the male world is more competitive than you could possibly imagine. And it's the women who pick the winners. So I find it very interesting that a woman sits here to me and says, no, men are allowed to sit around and do fuck all and feel sad. And those are the men they ignore when they DM.
No.
Those are the men they ignore them all.
No, actually, can I just chime in here? So, for example, everything you've said, you've possessed, you've proved your point, right? But as a high-value woman, if I respect...
You're not a high-value woman. Just because you dress in nice clothes doesn't make you a high-value woman. Are you fit, feminine, cooperative, bedroom fun, loyal, and submissive? No. You're masculine. Do you have an end count of 0? No. Do you have an end count of under 10? No. Are you 18 to 23? No. Are you married? No. Are you the kind of girl that all women want to be and all men want to be with? No. You're not a high-value woman. That you have the traits of a man that you want to be with doesn't make you a high-value woman. So let's not even go there.
To love my partner, I'm not putting that pressure. I would say, babe, you know what? You can have a little rest. Like, there are women that actually enable men to process that emotion.
Agreed.
Yeah. That's... Once you've gone and slayed the lion and you're tired from a hard day's work, then you come home and you can rest. Yes. With that woman. Yes. When you've earned your leisure. But if you haven't earned your leisure and you wake up in the morning and say, I don't feel like it, and then your wife, your children, the people that are depending on you start to starve, then what? So, ridiculous hogwash.
But yeah, so we'll still go back to tomorrow, okay.
Agreed.
Let's go back to work. But there are good women out there that don't put that pressure. I feel like your reality on women is warped because of a certain caliber of women. Yes, it is.
I agree. You're right. But you're missing a very vital point of that story. You're right. But as a high-value woman, before you say to that man, you can have a day off and you're allowed to be sad today, you will only even get with him. Let me change that. You will only even acknowledge he exists if he's ignored how he feels 99% of the time before that.
Right. Exactly. Women only select that kind of man. That's right.
Because if he was sad most of the time before that, he never would have got to a place where he could attract a woman like you.
That's right.
The man who works in Starbucks, who's sad all the time, you won't reply to him. Neither will any other female. So
right. You won't even look at him. He's invisible.
For women to come along and pretend they give a fuck about the fact that most men are basically invisible. There is not a female on the planet who's invisible today. You can be a 4, overweight, fat, you'll still go to the club and get attention. 99% of the men go to the club and nobody even fucking talks to them. If they try and talk to a girl, they get blanked and ignored and told to Most men are absolutely and utterly invisible. This is the truth about masculinity, right? It's very easy for women to sit here and complain about the top 2% of men because I dealt with this guy, he's arrogant, blah, 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 blah. Most men don't even fucking exist. They send 10,000 DMs and never even get read, let alone replied to. So if you were to sit here and say, I'll get a G, a big G, a boss, a millionaire, and let him have a day off, very nice of you. I'm sure you would. Yeah. But
indeed. Yeah. She's not seeing the forest for the trees, is what Andrew's saying. Look at her expression. She actually disagrees.
If a guy who wanted to have days off all the time, he never would have got important enough in the first place to attract a woman like you. And that is the reality. As a man, it's player versus player. It's ultimately competitive. And as a man, you have to outcompete the other men who are prepared to get up and do it anyway. That's how it works. There's no such thing as saying, I'm sad, I need 2 weeks off. Not as a man if you want to be important. Maybe as a chick, you can always put more foundation on and be hot again. Great. Not as a man. If you want to be important as a man, you have shit to do. You have duties. This is how it exists. This is how it's always been.
That's right. That's right.
Why are you wearing glasses?
Sunglasses.
Yeah, we're inside.
We are inside. Very perspicacious of you. I have bad eyes.
Yeah, bad eyes.
I have bad eyes because after so many fights in the ring, I had a retina detachment, and there's a lot of bright lights here, and it makes my eyes very uncomfortable. I don't want to squint on camera, so I'm wearing sunglasses. So if you want to continue to make fun of my medical condition,
Why would I make fun of it?
We just
It's a
tried.
question.
I know you just tried. No, it's fine. No, it's fine.
No, it wasn't. It was a genuine question.
Yeah. I just tried to make mock
No.
me. It's fine. Versus men's mental health, but if you got a retinal detachment, it's fine. No, ha.
Actually,
It's funny now.
Actually, I was asking you because eye contact is important to gauge conversation.
Is it?
I
Do you want to
wanna
look in
know,
my eyes?
like how we're enjoying. Yeah.
Let me see. Give it a few minutes.
It's etiquette, isn't it?
It is. You're right. It's polite. You're right. It's polite.
Perfect.
polite.
We do a cheers with the glasses off. Cheers.
To detach retinas. Cheers.
Are you happy?
I think that money buys freedom and freedom buys happiness. I think that the rich people of the world, the number one most intelligent thing they did was convince poor people that money isn't happiness. And
Right. Yeah, it's true. There is a level of happiness statistically that a certain level of money can achieve. So, if you're below a certain level, you'll experience constant unhappiness, right? So, money actually does buy happiness, but past a certain point, it's diminishing returns, right? Because ultimately, if you have shelter, you have a car, you have food on the table, you're not worried about, buying stuff, then you're okay, regardless of the tier. But the problem is, 2023, things are much more expensive now and the salaries haven't really changed. So most people are now shafted, and there you go. And then these guys who thought, I'll just work a 9 to 5 till I'm 60 and I'll be fine. Nope, not anymore. Now you'll be a poor. Because the world has changed, right? So now there's people that have to have multiple jobs just to get by. That's the world that we live in. And that's why time better spent working on yourself to make yourself a high value man than sitting in the situation you're in, right? Okay, let's end the video there. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit all for notifications. Buy my books at bit.ly/heliosbooks. Share this video. Drop me a donation like Hunter M, Adrian R, and Tom M. Just click more in the video description. Go to my Patreon and subscribe. Patreon.com/theheliosblog. Thank you so much for listening, guys, especially if you listen to the end. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.